We all love a good vacation. We save up, we plan, we pack our bags with excitement, dreaming of new sights and perfect moments. We imagine beautiful beaches. We imagine historic cities. We imagine scenic mountain trails. We take pictures to capture the joy, to create memories that we can look back on with a smile. But travel isn't always what it seems. Sometimes when you step off the beaten path, you find something else waiting for you. Something that doesn't make it into the travel brochure. Something dark. Something that follows you home, not as a souvenir, but as a shadow clinging to your thoughts. These are the stories that don't get posted on social media. They are the secrets whispered between travelers in hushed tones. They are the warnings that you dismiss as urban legends until it happens to you. They are the moments when the thrill of adventure turns into the cold grip of fear. You see, the world is an old place, filled with forgotten corners and lingering energies. Not every beautiful landscape is peaceful. Not every friendly stranger has good intentions. Sometimes the most idyllic settings hide the most terrifying truths. The dream vacation can become a nightmare you can never truly wake up from. So, lean in closer. Let me tell you about the other side of travel. Forget the 5-star reviews, forget the perfectly curated photos. I'm going to share 3 stories with you. Stories that friends of friends swear are true. Let's start with my friend Chloe. She's an artist. She loves nature. So for her birthday, her boyfriend Mark rented a cabin for a weekend getaway. It was supposed to be perfect. The cabin was deep in the forests of Washington state. It was old, rustic, and completely isolated. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, just them, the trees, a crackling fireplace. The pictures online showed a cozy little retreat, a place to disconnect from the world and reconnect with each other. They were so excited. They packed their bags, bought some wine, and drove for hours, leaving the city far behind. When they finally arrived, the cabin looked just like the photos, but there was an air of neglect about it. A few shingles were missing from the roof, and the wood of the porch steps seemed to groan under their weight. Still, they were determined to have a good time. It was charmingly rustic, they told themselves. Inside, the cabin was filled with old furniture covered in dusty white sheets. It smelled of damp wood and something else, something faintly metallic, like old pennies. Mark started a fire while Chloe explored. She found a small, locked room at the end of the hallway. The listing hadn't mentioned a locked room. She felt a strange pull towards it, an unsettling curiosity. She jiggled the old brass doorknob, but it wouldn't budge. Mark called her back, telling her to leave it alone. They opened a bottle of wine, trying to shake off the strange vibe of the place. As night fell, the forest came alive with noises. Not the normal sounds of crickets and owls, but strange snaps of twigs just outside the windows, like someone was walking around the cabin. Mark laughed it off. Probably just a deer. But Chloe couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The isolation that had seemed so romantic just hours before now felt threatening, a suffocating blanket of silence and darkness pressing in on them from all sides. This was the beginning, an ordinary weekend that would not end as they expected. She tried to sleep, but couldn't. That first night, Chloe couldn't sleep. Every creak of the old cabin made her jump. Around 3 a.m, she heard it, a soft, rhythmic scratching sound. It was coming from inside the cabin, from the locked room at the end of the hall. She woke Mark up, her heart pounding in her chest. He listened, his face growing pale. The scratching sounded like fingernails dragging down a wooden door. They lay frozen in bed, too scared to move, listening as the sound continued for what felt like an eternity, before finally stopping. The next day, they tried to act normal. They went for a hike, trying to put the night behind them, but the forest felt different now. The trees seemed to loom over them. They cut their hike short and returned to the cabin, the unspoken fear hanging between them. Chloe found herself staring at the locked door again. This time, she noticed tiny, deep scratches around the keyhole. That afternoon, while looking for extra blankets, she found an old photo album. The pictures were faded, dating back decades. They showed a family, a man, a woman, and a little girl, posing happily in front of the cabin. But as she flipped through the pages, the photos grew more disturbing. The smiles faded. The family looked gaunt, their eyes wide with a fear that seemed to leap off the page. The last photo was of the little girl standing alone in front of the locked room's door, holding a small, rusty key in her hand. That was it for them. They didn't even pack. They grabbed their keys and their phones and ran out of the cabin, not daring to look back. As they sped away down the gravel road, Chloe risked a glance in the rearview mirror. For a split second, she saw a light flicker in the locked room's window, and she could have sworn she saw the small, pale face of a little girl watching them go. Angry, not sad. They never talked about what happened in that cabin again, but Chloe says she still hears the scratching sometimes. Late at night, in the quiet of her own home, it lingers, echoes of a place that kept its secret. Isn't it terrifying? The thought that a place can hold on to a memory so tightly, that the pain and anger of people long gone can soak into the very walls, waiting for someone new to arrive. Chloe and Mark were lucky. They got away. The family in the photographs, what happened to them? What was behind that locked door? Some places are not meant to be visited. They are tombs, holding onto their secrets with a grip that never loosens. When you stay in a place with a dark history, you're not just sleeping in a room, you're sleeping with its ghosts. Horror isn't always something you can see or fight. It's a feeling, a sense of dread you can't explain but can't ignore. So next time you book a charming rustic getaway, pause. Think about the history of the place you're eager to visit. Who lived there before you? Who died there? What secrets hide within its walls, waiting for a curious visitor to unlock them? Sometimes the most beautiful places have the ugliest histories, and sometimes when you leave, a part of that place follows you. Now let's travel to a different part of the world. Let's go to the desert of Jordan. My cousin Maya is a real history buff. She had dreamed of visiting the ancient city of Petra since she was a child. You know the place, the stunning city carved directly into pink sandstone cliffs, the treasury, the monastery. It's honestly a place of wonder and history. She finally went there a few years ago with a tour group. During her visit, she learned about legends of the local Bedouin tribes. They spoke of Petra as a place inhabited by powerful ancient spirits. They called them the jinn, beings carved of smokeless fire that could be mischievous or malevolent. On her last day, Maya wanted one final, perfect photograph of the treasury. She decided to stay behind after her tour group started back. The crowds thinned. A profound silence fell over the Sikh, that narrow canyon leading to the city. She waited as the light turned the sandstone fiery red. It was beautiful, but as the shadows grew, unease crept over her. She wasn't entirely alone. A young Bedouin boy lingered nearby, trying to sell trinkets.
You should not be here. The night belongs to them.
The guides laughed it off as superstition, but Maya noticed the locals never stayed within the city's walls after sunset. Maya ignored the boy's warning. She was a rational historian. She didn't believe in spirits. But then the air grew cold. The silence became absolute. She felt watched. She took her photos, her hands trembled. She turned, glanced back at the treasury, and then she saw it. A figure standing in the deep doorway, tall, unnaturally thin, shrouded in swirling dark sand. No face, no features, but its gaze felt locked on her. Panic seized her. Her throat tightened. She couldn't scream. She turned and ran, racing through the winding canyon as shadows seemed to reach for her. She burst out into the relative brightness of the visitor area, gasping and shaking.
Some things are older than stone. You are lucky it only watched.
Maya never returned. She has the photos, but she can't look at them. Every time she does, she sees a faint, dark shape in the treasury doorway, watching, waiting. What Maya experienced touches on a fear as old as humanity, the fear of powers beyond our comprehension. For the people who built these places, spirits, demons, what we call folklore, were real and part of daily life. Who are we, thousands of years later, to say they were wrong? When you travel, listen to the locals. Their warnings are sometimes survival guides. Tread lightly. Leave before the sun sets, before the veil thins. You might be lucky and only be watched, but luck can run out. For our last story, we go to the green, rolling hills of Ireland. This story comes from a woman named Sarah, who went on a solo road trip through the Irish countryside. She wanted to see the real Ireland, away from the bustling streets of Dublin. One evening, she was driving late, trying to reach a remote bed and breakfast. Fog rolled in from the coast, blanketing the land in a gray shroud. Visibility dropped to a few feet. Her GPS had lost signal. She felt lost, anxious, but she kept driving. Hoping for lights of a village, she pressed on. Suddenly, her headlights caught something up ahead, a woman standing alone by the road. She wore an old-fashioned white dress, strangely thin for the damp night. Her hair was plastered to her face. She wasn't waving for help. She was just standing, staring out into the fog.
Are you all right? Do you need a ride?
The woman turned her head very, very slowly. Her face was pale, almost luminous in the mist. Her eyes were dark and empty, like two black holes. She said nothing. She just stared. A cold dread washed over Sarah. She slammed her foot down and sped away, heart hammering. When she reached the village, she stumbled into the pub, shaking and pale. The bartender took one look and knew.
You saw the woman on the road to Kilcloon, didn't you? He told a legend. Centuries ago, a woman lost her child to illness, was driven mad with grief, wandered into the fog, and was never seen again. Now they say her spirit walks that road on foggy nights, the banshee forever searching. To see her is an omen, a warning of sorrow to come.
Sarah left the next morning, cutting her trip short. A few weeks later, she received a call. Her grandmother, who'd been perfectly healthy, had passed away in her sleep. These stories stay with you. They feel like more than spooky tales in the dark, unsettling reminders of the thin veil between our bright modern world and the older, darker one beneath. There are still mysteries that defy explanation. A haunted cabin, an ancient spirit, a harbinger of death on a lonely road. The most profound souvenir might not be a postcard or trinket. It might be a chilling memory and a newfound respect for the unknown. So next time you pack your bags, be excited, be curious, but be cautious. Listen to the locals, watch the shadows, sleep tight. If you enjoyed these tales and want more, subscribe for more chilling stories. Share yours in the comments.